everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Unraveling the Veil with your host, Katie from the yararose.com website. That is YARAROSE.com. You can also follow me on @YaraRoseHealing on both YouTube and Instagram to keep up with what's going on with me. Now let's get to today's episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my podcast. I'm so excited that you guys are here with me again today. Today, I'm so excited because we have my amazing friend, Elaine Rosier, the psychic medium, with us again. If you remember, she was with us in episode 46, and today she is back, and we are going to discuss dreams and interpreting them and other ways that our intuition is telling us things about life. So, I wanted to start with dreams because through my journey, I was having dreams and I was just disregarding them because as an emotion code practitioner, they tell you that part of processing the emotions is having these dreams and kind of just to go with it and let it go. And so I was just thinking that it was always that type of stuff. But then I was talking to Elaine and she's like, "Oh my gosh, lady, you're missing all this communication from your unconscious mind. You need to start paying attention to those." So Elaine, how did you find out that that is something that we should be paying attention to?
Well, first of all, hi, Katie. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me back. I'm so excited. I think when it was your excitement at telling me, and with the confusion, but excitement, because you get so excited about everything.
I
And it
do.
was like, la, 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 la. And you were telling me, and I'm like, Katie, slow down. Just listen to what they're saying. And you were like, but why? And you have such information being given to you, bless you, because you are so gifted. You're being given so much information. And you were doing the really logical how, why, what are they telling me? And then, of course, you love your journaling. And I just said, well, write it down. Just see what jumps out. And that's exactly what it is. Even if you don't have time, I find to write it down. Well, because my brain works very differently to most people's, which is a good thing, they just pinpoint the important little bits. It's a bit, I suppose, like bullet points and things like that. They highlight bits for me, jump out, and then a bit later on, I can go, aha. I never sit and analyze because I can't do that. So I'm usually cooking dinner in the garden, walking the dog, doing something for me that's quite basic and calming when I feel at one with
Mhm.
myself. And then I go over it and then they'll go ding, ding, ding and highlight it out for me. So I've got, if you like, my own whiteboard in my head, and it's there. And then I think, and that's it. I also find before I go to sleep, I used to do huge meditations. I don't have time now. I find the world is going so fast.
Yeah.
So now I find if I've got something I want to sort out, I have it in my head as a question or as a thought. By the time I wake up in the morning, they will have walked me through it literally as a practical dream.
That is awesome. I need to do that. That's why I come to you because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have all this mess here. Can you please untangle it?"
I think it's because also you're very intelligent. Because of all these years I've worked with this, I think I've just learned, and don't forget I'm older. So I think what I've learned to do is I've just learned to plod. So I plod, and because I've slowed right down,
Yeah.
things have slowed down with me and they just give it to me in very basic. I suppose it's like a child drawing a house, isn't it? Four walls, straight lines with the roof with a pointy bit, and the sun is always a ball with sticks coming out of it. Well, that's how I draw, so I'm still a child. But it's universal to know that's a house in the sun because
Yeah,
it's universal.
yeah.
So I think that's how I tend to think. And I know everybody can't think like that. And you have a very logical, incredible mind. But I think if you can strip away the fancy bits and the difficult bits, I honestly believe you just come down to the bare basics. And all spirit want us to know is they want us to know something, usually, nudge, nudge, poke, poke,
Yeah.
find out what I'm trying to tell you. Listen is their favorite one. I'm talking to you. And usually when I'm on the phone to one of my kids, but the other one I think is also because they're saying, well, there you go. I've got the answers for you. I'll give it to you plainly. And I think then it's up to us to go ahead. Well, that's how I see it anyway. And that's how I've tended to walk very comfortably with
Yeah.
spirit beside me all my life.
Yeah. I think that's a thing too, is for everyone listening, you have your own ability to communicate with spirit and with your higher self. And that's Elaine's way because that's what she's developed with them. And I think that what I wanted to highlight with this conversation is that my way is going to look different than Elaine's way, and it's going to look different than all of the listeners' way. Because, like, honestly, creating your own language with spirit. Actually, it reminds me of a class I took on mediumship where the professor was like, I would get these emails from the students saying, "Oh my gosh, I had a dream last night of a pink elephant with polka dots. What does this mean?" And he's like, I have no idea what your unconscious mind is trying to tell you. That's between you, spirit, your unconscious mind. That's so subjective.
But it does. But you've made a very, very good point there. It's like the English language, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, some people can go, really? 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 And it's all meant differently.
Yeah.
So everybody would take that differently.
Right.
You know, how does a toddler get your attention? Tug, 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 tug. They probably only want you to look at them and smile, give them a cuddle. But they
Yeah.
tug like there's the world's about to erupt and they need you to handle them before the precipice comes or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the difference, as you say, and you've made it beautifully as always, Katie. And anyone that's listening, it's how we as individuals relate to spirit and spirit relate to us.
Yeah.
It's energetic. If we all thought the same way, wouldn't the world be boring?
I say that all the time. I mean, like we think in our ego that we want everyone to be the same because it would be just so much easier. But if that happened, we'd be so unbelievably bored.
Wouldn't we? Everything would be grey or cream,
Yes.
wouldn't
Yeah, it's like that
No.
episode of Trolls where everything just loses its color.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Not about you, but I've had this a lot where, like, all of a sudden I just get a feeling when I'm with somebody. For instance, my chiropractor one time, I just had this feeling like this was going to be the last time I saw him. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I just have like literally this energy around me feels like this will be the last time I ever see him. And 3 months later, I got in and I got to a different person. And I was like, what happened to, Mike? And they're like, oh, he quit a while ago. And I was like, oh.
How many people have done that? My dear husband, who is not spiritual but has supported me all these years. I say, oh, I was talking to so and so. And he says, real or passed away. And
Yeah.
I go, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I can have deep conversations with people. And I'm actually sometimes not even sure if they are real people anymore.
That'd be so confusing. How do you know?
I don't. But how many people have said that? I thought I saw my brother. I could have sworn at the football ground I saw my brother. And yet he died abroad
Yeah.
when years ago. And
Yeah.
yet I thought I saw him because he saluted me and that was it. And he was
Yeah.
standing right where he normally stood. People would go, it's an anniversary. It's the light playing tricks on you. It's your
Yeah.
mind. You wanted to conjure him up for a
Yeah.
safety. Why would someone want to do that and then go, I think I saw my brother? Why?
Yeah.
See, we go, other people would go, I don't know why. And they're looking for a deeper meaning. What about if this person just needed to see her brother? Because
Yeah.
she needed a spiritual hello.
Yeah. But if the energy was just right, where it was, he's always there. And because they were
Yeah.
in this frame of mind and they were extra on their mind because of an anniversary, it was just,
Mm,
they saw it, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Reality of the conversations that you can have or what they're showing you. It doesn't have to be a conversation with words.
Right.
Sometimes they can lead you somewhere. So, I mean, the biggest one, surely, that I've always said is deja vu.
Oh, yeah.
How many people have gone, do you know, I know this. I might have eaten this meal before, or I've seen that picture before, or
Yeah.
I've been here. And they've never been in their life, but they suddenly feel at home, or they can tell you upstairs there's this or there's, and that can only be surely because they've walked that path before, or someone has taken them there, or is feeding them the information. And I
Oh,
think that, how many people just go, oh, that's potluck. You guess that up at the top of the stairs, there was a door with a handle on it. Every door's got a handle. Yeah. But who knows at the top of those stairs? And who knew there were stairs there?
yeah.
Potluck, you see? And I think that's it. If you narrow it down to the very small things. And I think the other thing is it's for people that are intelligent to have to say to them, trying not to be as intelligent with spirit because they're stripped down to the base. Yes, Katie, you're one of them, aren't you?
It's like use your intuition, not your like thinking brain, because your thinking
Yeah,
brain is
that's
going to
it.
get in the way. And that is like
Yeah.
mastering detachment. Because I'm always like, I want a solution and I want it to look all pretty. Trying this back to the dream. I was reading through my dream journal, like I said before we started, and one of them did pop out at me where it fits into this conversation where I was doing like this is so accounting of me, but I was logging all of the assets into this computer program for the year so they could be insured. And I got to the point of it where I sent it off. And then for some reason in the dream, I was like, I'm going to reach out to my old supervisor and I just want to bounce some ideas off of him about what to do next in my life. And I literally was sound asleep having this dream and I had a visceral reaction. My entire like spine tightened up and woke me up, like jolted me awake. And then in my mind, I heard, you are not going to find the answers externally. They are within. So it's like, it was like, do not contact that supervisor. He is not going to help you.
I love it. I love it. You see, totally relaxed, asleep. Well, I'm assuming you were relaxed, Katie, to a degree
Before that.
until that. But yeah, before that you were. But how amazing, you see? And the voice said, don't. And so Katie didn't. But you see, that's the thing. How many people have ever gone? This is one to put to ask people. How many people have gone to do something and have suddenly gone, no, I don't think I will now, and haven't followed through? And that, I'm not saying a disaster has happened, but something has occurred, and or something wonderful has been round the corner where they wouldn't have been there on very simple everyday things. Do people, when we're awake, because I call those like daydreams, to be honest. If we're getting those things, don't do that. I mean, simple one is, do we like everybody? If you dislike somebody or have a feeling to back off with someone or embrace someone. I mean, please don't go up to people and just hug them randomly. It's a bit dangerous. But in that feeling of, I really like that person. Or, not too sure. Then what is it that's doing that? Because that's a daytime reaction when we're awake and we're conscious. So when we're not as conscious, what is the brain telling us?
Right.
I mean, dreams. Have you ever had a dream? Here's one. Have you had a dream ever where you've dreamt of, say, food and you've actually thought that you've actually eaten the meal? I'm not saying you just go to bed going, pancakes. And then you go to, that could be me on a diet, mark you. Many diets.
That'd be kind of cool though if you could just dream it and then you wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't it be good?
It'd be amazing.
Smell it. Yeah, I wouldn't be like I am now. I know once a long time ago. I don't know why I was dreaming of water. There was a relevance, but I can't remember what it was. And I actually woke up in the morning and checked my hands because I'd been trailing my hands in the water, rippling. You know how you ripple through and you can see your fingers underneath. Yeah. I really thought my hands were going to be wet.
It was so real. It was like so
and
good.
It was so real. Yeah. And I've actually done it where I have smelt food. And I thought, did I go to bed and leave something on? I know I don't.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite anal about switching things off.
Yeah.
But, so that's the reality of it. So if you put the daytime stuff in with the depth of things, I think people, and again, it's analytical. If you're going to analyze it, write it down.
Yeah.
Just write it or record it. You can do it on your phone these days, got your device, and just go, that. Doesn't have to be anything, you're not writing a novel unless you want to.
Right.
But there's so much, I think, that they just give us in bits and pieces. And I believe it's like stepping stones. Not everybody has in their garden. They may not have a path, full path. They may have stepping stones, different directions. And I think that's the way spirit works.
Yeah. And they think they meet you where you're at too, right? And like, so it's gonna take a while to build that path, like wherever you are, they're gonna give you these little things and then these little, I always call it following the breadcrumbs because there's
that's it.
A little Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb there and there and there. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that was a really cool journey. I never would have thought that would have led here, but here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do believe, we talk about manifesting. Well, really and truly, what is manifesting but a daydream.
That is true.
Really.
Yeah, 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 it honestly is a visualization, and then honestly, like, getting to the point where it's so vivid that you feel it, and then if you can get to the point where you feel it so much that it just has to be. Law of attraction, it has to be.
Exactly.
You literally
Exactly.
yeah,
And you step into that, don't
yeah,
you? You
yeah.
step into it because
Mhm,
you're either manifesting it for somebody else
mhm,
or you are doing it for yourself and you're
yeah,
stepping into that reality. It's just a different realm of reality. So I always liken if we're doing that in the daytime,
yeah.
then lordy lord, what's happening in the nighttime? I think and I do believe, and I'm not a sleep specialist at
Mhm.
all.
No, me neither.
I truly do believe that that is why so many people wake up so exhausted.
Oh,
I
just from, like,
really
all of
believe
the
I
information
yeah,
coming through?
yeah, and I think some people do astral travel. I really
Oh,
do believe that
mhm.
that's that. So some people may be like you, Katie. They don't want to do just a short journey. They want to do a long journey. So they're doing a long haul journey. Go to bed exhausted and off they go. But if your brain is working and analyzing during the night,
Mhm.
just think how tired you might be. And people got to buy a new mattress, got to change my job. Going to go to bed 2 hours early, but you may be doing 2 hours. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I'm not saying I'm an expert on anything. I'm far from it.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder when people go, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think I dreamt about anything, but I'm just so tired. If everything is wiped from their brain,
Mhm.
why? Is it because it was just everything, they took all the messages and there was nothing written on the whiteboard anymore?
Yeah.
I just wonder. What do you think?
I was like, that makes me wonder because I honestly like, because I do sometimes I can wake up and I know that I had an intense dream, but I don't remember it. I guess in my own context, I've been like, well, if I don't remember it, then I don't need to. Like, I don't consciously
Yeah.
need to. And either it's because, like what you just said, where maybe I worked through everything and I don't need to process it again, or I thought maybe because here's the thing, as a Reiki practitioner, my son was always complaining about me watching Dateline before bed. And my daughter, to be fair. Neither one of them like me watching Dateline. And I was like, "Why are you so, like, annoyed by this?" So then I did a brain scan before I watched it once, and then a brain scan on myself afterwards, and this was just energy scanning people. I don't have any amazing technologies. And to me, like, heavy, dense, dark energy, like, gross type stuff that makes you go, "Ick," that looks black. So I'm like, "Oh my gosh," my brain by the time I got done with Dateline was so black and disgusting and just low vibe that I was like, "Okay, maybe not right before bed anymore." So,
Ex-
sometimes I do think that if I watch something like that, that just gets me into that gross vibration, I will have dreams about it, and then I won't remember them because 'cause they're not really that important, you know?
See,
It's just
that's it. I mean, what do we do with children? Most of us, when we have children, we calm them down before
yeah.
bedtime, calm them down. I mean, a lot of people now, put the TV on or whatever, or,
Yeah.
the iPad or whatever. But
Mhm.
the idea was have a story. What do
Yeah.
you read them? Or we, in my generation, used to read them fairy stories.
Yeah,
What
adventures.
fairy stories? Yeah. Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Bears, that's okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
But so many of them are quite cruel. You're
Yeah.
sending children to bed, telling them about bears, pigs, and trolls under a bridge, and Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty who gets her finger pricked and goes to sleep like for 100 years and doesn't wake up. When you put those children to bed, how much of that is in their head? And
Oh.
then they wake up, they're screaming, and we go back to sleep now. Would you like me to finish the story? But how often are spirit there soothing them and trying to take bits? I also believe that spirit try to help us when we're asleep, not only by answering things, but also by trying to, well, same thing, I suppose, answering, soothing us and
Yeah.
smoothing things out. And that's why you often see children with that beautiful grin on their face when they're asleep.
Oh.
Surely everybody in the world loves a sleeping child. I loved my children much more when they were asleep. I really did. I loved them all when they were asleep. I loved them.
Yeah,
But
they're so
that
innocent.
smile, even a teenager, head in the fridge, when they're in bed, you see their face
Yeah.
and you think that's real. Now, is it because they had a really good day? You hope so. Or is it because spirit have literally gone to them, I'll take all that aggravation out for you.
Yeah.
You might have an exam, you might have had a bad day and fallen out. Let's take it all away and let's let you have the dream of all dreams, which could be about nothing. Probably for a teenager, probably nothing. That's easier. But
Yeah.
I wonder, so I think you get the two things, as I say, we try to soothe people and some dreams can be soothing. But what about if it is bad and spirit help? Because I do believe that spirit work alongside us.
Yeah.
You as a healer, I think would manifest much stronger healing spirit than perhaps I would. But I do believe that. I really do.
Yeah, and I think I heard somewhere too that, like, even we can go visit the other side, right? Like, some people say it's
Mm,
heaven, whatever, but, like, that dimension of spirit, and maybe that goes with astral traveling, I'm not sure, but I, like
mm.
this is so funny because I have heard that, and I was like, "Oh, that would make sense. No wonder when I was little, all I ever wanted to do was sleep because then I could go travel all over these
Yeah,
little different
you
dimensions
see,
and, like, play and."
that's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I was always travel sick up until quite a few years ago. And I was quite embarrassed as an adult to say I get motion sickness.
Yeah.
I mean, really badly, locally, even not even on big runs. So I think as a child, being brought up in the era, because I'm so old, as you know, and being brought up by Victorian grandparents, didn't have travel sickness tablets. You had brown paper with goose fat on it. And they
Yeah.
would put that on your back, yeah, on the bare back, then wrap you in a towel and then put clothes on. So you would smell of goose fat or whatever all the way in.
Oh my
Usually in those very old petrol cars where the petrol smell, the gas smell inside.
Yeah.
Um, so I didn't like traveling very much. I wonder why. And I used to find that I would have a book and I would read. I think one of them was The Secret Garden. That was always one of my very specials.
Yeah.
And I would actually find I was transported to that place.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Absolutely could transport it. So, and that's, as you know, what I do when I meditate now. As an adult, if you've been scared of anything or, when things haven't been right or whatever, even in my final nursing exam all those years ago, I took myself transportation wise to my grandparents' garden where it was magical and I had so much fun and it was my safe place, my
Yeah.
meditation spot. But as I say, and I think that stems from reading The Secret Garden so many times as a child. But I think obviously I think spirit helped me to learn to go on journeys,
Yeah.
like India and stories like that, because I'm the Lost Princess and things like that, because
Yeah.
it helped me to go rather than me be sick with goose fat on brown paper. I could go on a journey. I think what we've got with spirit is limitless
Oh, yeah.
things that we can do with dreams, with our subconscious.
Yeah,
And I,
with our daily life too. Like, what I love too is I think it was in December, and I did a self-care day. I went and I got a massage, and while I was laying on the massage table, I had a meditation kind of state where I was, like, having a vision that spirit was I always ask them to be with me, but I was tuning into them, and they gave me this vision of me, like, going into the face cradle and falling down the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole and all this stuff, right? And I remember talking to you about it. So I had this on, like, a Wednesday, and then I talked to you on Thursday, and I told you about it, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, that fits in with my meditation I saw for you perfectly." And you were like, word for word, you were on a massage table and you just fell through the face cradle. You were there and then you were gone. And I was like, this is why I love spirit so much because we're continents apart. Literally nowhere near each other, hadn't spoken, but yet within 24 hours, we're both getting a vision of me going through a face cradle and a massage table. How awesome is that?
well, let's put it like this: it's not normal and common, is it? For a start.
No. And that's like how people are like, "How can you heal someone from" like, when my sister was stuck in Morocco, "How can you send her healing from Morocco?" And I'm like, "It's as instantaneous as a cell phone.
Yeah, yeah,
It's spirit."
exactly.
You just
Exactly. It's limitless, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is limitless. But I really do think that dreaming is, and as I say, they're little signs that mean so much.
oh,
And
yeah.
I think three-quarters of people have them and they just wake up and go, that was odd. I must have eaten something a bit odd. or I went to bed, I went to bed in the wrong frame of mind.
Yeah. Or like, what did I eat? What did I drink? What did I consume? Because I mean, all that does impact it. But like, I just
Mm.
keep going back to like, if Elaine hadn't told me to pay more attention to those dreams, how many messages would I not have gotten? Because
Mm.
I mean, honestly, in the last couple of years, I have just learned so much about myself. Let me give this example. It's a little hesitant because it may not seem like I'm as confident as I sometimes am, but I just want to show how amazing this ability to communicate with your unconscious self is, because it allows you to take power back in the present moment, because you have a full understanding of what's happening and you can choose which path you want to go. So I've been working part-time in my accounting area. And then I've also been building up Yara Rose and obviously doing more Unraveling the Veil podcasts and stuff like that. And one night I had a dream where my husband and I were the same age we were now, and we were asked to watch this baby for a day because they had to go to a funeral or something. And it wasn't a big deal, but we're watching this baby. And the more we watch this baby, the more angry I get. And then, like, halfway through the dream, I find out the reason I'm so angry is I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do this every single day for the next, how many years again? I've already done this. I have 2 kids. My youngest one's 11 right now. I don't want to have to start over. So when I woke up, I was super mad in this dream. Like, how did this happen? How did I get in this position? So I start journaling about, first I got rid of all the anger. I'm very angry about this. I don't want to have to do this. And I'm writing things like, I've already been there. I've already done that. I don't want to have to start having kids again. I don't want to have to start all over. I've already built my life to this level. I really love where I'm at. And then as I'm doing it, I'm also entering into more of a state of reflection and detachment, right? I got it out on the paper. It's no longer taking up mental space. So then I'm able to receive messages, and I'm receiving that the reason I was so angry was because I didn't want to have to start over. And I'm obviously not pregnant. So what does this baby represent in my life? And I thought about my business of Yara Rose and the healing and building that up, and how that's always felt so personal. It's felt like its own baby to me. And I was like, okay, so where is this resentment about this baby of Yara Rose? And it came to be that at an unconscious level blockage where it was like, I've already built my life. I don't want to have to start over in this brand new avenue, this whole new career that's completely different than my other one. And I was like, part of me really wants to and has been pushing for it. But as long as I have this unconscious block, I'm not going to get anywhere. So it was just oh, hey, Katie, you need to focus on this. You need to release this. You need to talk about this, or you're not going to get anywhere. And yelling at us about why are we not getting anywhere isn't going to help you. So here you go. This is a nugget. Then I got done journaling and I drew my cards, which I do every day. And I drew the card for my Yara Rose spread that was about the earthworm, and it's about brand new and starting over and new beginnings, and how a beginner's mindset is actually an asset because you're able to see things in a different way than other people that have been doing it for a long time. And it was courage and motivation. And I was, oh, thanks, Spirit, for this validation. That what I was dreaming about was this, and this is what it means. And now I feel really good.
I think, sweetheart, apart from my giggling, that you have just literally put this whole podcast into one dream. You've answered it all. That says it all, doesn't it? It does really. I mean, it was so significant to where you're at with this inner decision almost. Do I make a daytime conscious decision? Should I be stoically carrying on with my day job, my bread and butter job?
Yeah.
Should I be following the esoterical path because that's the way I want to be? But then doesn't that make me a responsible mother and wife and human being?
Yeah.
And Yara Rose is your baby.
Yeah.
You conceived Yara Rose. You hold Yara Rose.
Yeah.
We all adore Yara Rose.
Oh.
And it's like, oh, I've got, I'm nurturing it, but what am I getting back?
Yeah.
You're not actually feeding it or changing its nappy, so you're not actually getting anything back. And I think that just the way to hear you say it, and of course I've heard you say this before, to hear you say it, but then how you literally then took it, what the message was from it, and you came out with a sane answer, which didn't frustrate you. It was like, aha, I've got it. See?
Yeah.
So here we go again, journaling or recording the highlights, the the main bits of it. Just goes to show, and people are going to go, I don't have time to journal in my busy life. Just write down a word. Just write down, as you say, baby, frustration.
Yeah, feelings. I was gonna say, make sure you
Yeah,
write
that's it.
feelings, how they
Yeah.
felt to you. If colors stand out, write
Mm.
down like the things that really set out to you. Because when you're either doing the laundry or whatever, because it can happen in the car, it can happen doing laundry, it can happen during
Ah,
meditation, it can happen anywhere. Where all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, that color I associate with this, and it usually brings this type of emotion. And why was that with this type of object, and what could that mean?
I find as a reader, I sometimes get things that don't make any sense to me. I had one day red shoes and a blue door and something else. And I thought, well, that's definitely got nothing to do with me. I've got no idea. And I was doing a charity, a platform in those days I used to do. I realized, I didn't realize at the time, but later that evening when I was doing the charity work, I realized it was for a lady who'd lost her daughter. And they were the things, it was her door, it was her house, and all she had to show after the terrible accident was her red shoes. And so it was to say to her, I didn't know who it was, but I've got this, this, and this, and I need to go to you, madam. This is what I've got. And then she went, my daughter, is a message from her. I'd been given it, as I say, a week earlier, but it was so clear, so clear. And I had no idea. So I wrote that down and put underneath rubbish. Why? Question mark. Why? What's that got to do with me? And so I think purely because I was a reader, for me, that was obviously giving me something for someone else. I think what you've just said, darling, just literally encapsulate it all. It really does.
Yeah. Well, I think, as a reader, did you know then this was not me? Or did you just write it down with a curiosity of, I know this will come up later, but I don't know how?
Yeah,
Could be me.
exactly.
Is that what it is?
Exactly. I
Okay.
thought, well, I wouldn't wear shoes like that. That's certain. And I can't think, I'm not going to paint my door, and I don't,
Yeah.
definitely not going to move.
Yeah.
So I just thought, well, I'll hold it. I'll store it. And I
Okay.
knew I couldn't store it literally front of my head. So it was in the back, obviously, but it
Yeah.
was written as well. So when, as I say, I came to do the charity session, it came right to the front. Dun, 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 dun. But I didn't at the time know. I just knew I had to hold it for a reason. And I think that's the other thing with my old age now. I have learned, and this might anger some people maybe or frustrate, I've now learned not to question too much.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I know they're not trying to hurt me or harm me or bewilder me. It's just like, fill her up, fill her to the top. She'll give it out at some stage.
Because I do that sometimes too, where I'm like, I don't know how this thing fits in, but I'm going to write it down somewhere. And if and when, which it's usually a when, but if and when spirit it'll be like a little doorbell going off. Oh, ding, 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 ding. This is how that relates into this, and sometimes it's about something on my own path. Sometimes it's about something for someone completely different. But I do love those little heads up too, because I think maybe in our cases where we get busy, maybe it's just like, oh, here's a moment of receptivity. I'm going to give them this information. So then later it doesn't have to be quite as much of a download for you.
I think so. I wish mine was like recycling. Blue bin, yellow bin, red bin, and I'd know which way it was going. And the red bin's for me. But yeah, I mean, as I say, I've just learned now to accept that I just know that spirit will always look after me. They will always guide me. And that's not being big headed or complacent.
No.
I just know that they always have. They've been on this journey with me from virtually day one almost. And that what they're giving me is always for a reason somewhere down the line. And I've learned over all these years on this earth now to take it. But as I say, it will randomly come in the weirdest dreams. Sometimes I actually get a hand things, really. But I think it just depends on who's giving it, how and where.
Yeah.
But as I say, so it can be a vivid dream, it can be a travel, it can be a journey. I can now use those dreams or use that way of working to work through things.
Yeah.
I find it very, it's wonderful. So I look on it as I said to you before, it's like a spiritual handshake. We're helping them, and by golly, they help us. Without a doubt.
That is very true, because they have things they want to say to people down here that they can't get through. They've been trying, they've done everything, I've had spirits that are like, dude, I don't know how else to do, I've done everything. Like, could you please just tap them on the shoulder and say this, and they'll be more open to it. So yeah, and I've gotten that from them too, is, well, we're a team. So you have my back and I have yours, because we're a team. But it doesn't have to be medium to spirit, it can also be person to their spiritual community as well. I haven't met a single person that doesn't have a spiritual community that's got their back,
Yeah,
regardless of whether they know
exactly.
about it or not.
That's it, exactly. And I think this is it. And I dare say, after we've said this, if anyone that's listening hasn't thought about that, I bet you they can come up with some examples.
Yeah.
Guarantee. There'll be lots of people scribing later going, "Oh, and I remember that, and I remember that." And I think one of the ones I had that was really weird was I got an electric drill, a pipe, and water. And I couldn't put, and I said to my husband, "You're not going to drill anything, are you?" And he went, "No, no, don't get any DIY from me." So I thought, well, what is it? And then that was before I got my electric drill and did my own DIY. So it wasn't a message for me.
Okay.
And again, it was only about, I don't know, 7, 8 hours later. It was a while back now. A friend said to me, "Oh," she said, "no one's in my house is helping me." And she had an old house she was renovating. So I'm going to drill. And don't drill through any pipes because I think you're going to hit water. And she did.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she drilled right through a water pipe. And I thought, how weird. Now, I hadn't gone to bed thinking of anything. And I had actually questioned, but I mean, obviously, pipe, drill, water, it had to be, it was going to be something. But I had no idea. And if my friend hadn't said to me,
Yeah.
I'm renovating, so I'm going to do it myself. And I thought, oh, but there you go. You see, so something quite simple. But I think it's those little things that we laugh at now. But, it took a long time to mop up. Let's put it like that. And her words were, "Why didn't you tell me? Didn't they give you a name?" And I went, "No, they didn't give me a name, a destination. They just showed me those 3 things."
What is that game where you have to like guess the word based off of drawing? Is that Pictionary?
Oh, that's it, Pictionary. That's it, yeah.
They're playing Pictionary with you. You put this together.
So, yeah, maybe we ought to do a session on spiritual Pictionary.
Oh
Maybe
my
that would
gosh.
work.
It's
Yeah.
so funny because sometimes it's like you'll see something and it doesn't I mean, it kinda makes sense to you, but at the same time, you're like, "I don't see how this is relevant to the conversation." But then you'll say it because you're a medium and you have to say what you see because you don't know how they're gonna take it. And the other person will be like, "Oh my gosh, that's," and then it reminds them of this memory, and it's
Mm,
I never would have thought that
yeah.
that would have meant that.
There you go. You see, so that's it. So I think as you can tie everything up, but I definitely think that dreams are something. I mean, you do get dream interpreters. You do. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't do the scientific. I just spiritually work it out for people. But
Mhm.
some people go through life really fogged with. I have this recurring dream, and it's about. I'm looking at my garden in the picture now, so about a yellow bush and about a wheelbarrow, and I don't know what it is. And sometimes it's been something like, well, if you're looking for a house, you're going to have a really big garden and you're going to know it's that house by that and the wheelbarrow that's out there and the yellow bush and whatever. And they've been holding this for a long time, thinking it's some terrible sign. They
Oh,
see this and they try and work it out. And
yeah.
I just, again, if they journaled it, I think it would help. I really do.
Yeah.
But maybe, just maybe, people would enjoy their dreams more and not think that everything is an omen. Because I think that's what people think.
Yeah.
It's a sign. Not necessarily.
Right. Well, I think it all depends on the dream and what's going on, but I
Mhm.
think journaling it, at least when you write anything down, then it feels like you're making space for new stuff in your brain, so at least then you're
Yeah,
getting it out. Whether you ever read it again or if you don't have to do the reflection, that's fine, but at least that helps you get rid of it and get on with your day.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it clears the subconscious out a little bit.
Yeah.
Surely, I mean, you've got an incredibly analytical brain as well, my darling, as you
I do.
as your beautiful intuitive side. But even your brain's going to get full up sometimes, and
Oh.
so it must. This is a way of sifting things, and it's like its own filter, isn't it? Getting
Mhm.
things out.
Yeah, yeah.
So more people should dream. They should take note of their dreams because it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
we're lucky. Yeah, and I mean, if you're trying to lead your everyday life, which we've talked about before, haven't we? You're leading, as I said, as a mum, a
Mhm.
wife, a daughter. You're trying to do all those things, and your job. You're
Yeah.
trying to do all these things and still be incredibly spiritual and incredibly wonderful, and it's all healing, and the
Yeah.
potatoes are boiling over,
Yeah.
and the joint's burning, and the
Yeah.
kids are fighting. But somehow, in amongst all that,
Yeah.
spirit are doing. Katie, could you just do this for me? Or
Oh,
Katie, I'm going to prepare you because later on, but you may not hear it at that moment, but you will still find time, because I know how you work, Katie, my darling. You will still find time and go, well, earlier they prompted me. I found a space, a
Yeah.
little space, and I fitted that in.
I try to go to an average school event thing and I get so overstimulated by the information that's coming in. So it is amazing. We are blessed, but there's a caveat to everything.
Well, it's that. What did we say to you? It's about putting the open and close sign on the door, isn't it? We've talked about this before, haven't we? You know, it's
We
saying,
have,
I'll only,
Elaine.
yeah. And you haven't done
I put
it,
that
have you,
close sign.
Katie?
No, that's not true. Sometimes I think they're like, sometimes, sometimes I think I'm the shopkeeper because, like you said, I'm busy. I have a lot going on in my life. So sometimes I think I have the closed door sign there so long. The spirit's like, okay, this is not how a partnership works, Katie. We are coming in. And we're having a conversation whether you like it or not.
That's it. We're breaking down the door and we're coming in.
Well,
So,
I kid you not. Yesterday, I'm walking around. My kids are, they have a lot going on. My family has a lot going on. And I'm like walking through my kitchen and I see someone sitting at my kitchen table. And I was like, oh my gosh, who, what? There's no one there, by the way. I don't know who it was, but
yeah.
somebody was waiting.
Yeah, and they just wanted your attention. And this is the thing, they
Mhm.
want your attention.
Yeah.
And that's another way. Giving messages or a notification through a dream is less taxing for some people than it is by, as you say, by suddenly standing in front of you and going, woo, I'm here.
like, like, let's have some coffee at the kitchen table. You need to take a chill pill.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Now you've dealt with the children, you've got them off to school, hubby's gone to work,
Yeah.
you've got a moment to breathe. Now I've got a message to give you. I want you to take a note, please.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
I just think it's, well, A, we're blessed.
We are blessed.
And I think it's quite miraculous. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love it. I just love it. And I always just go
Yeah.
back to like, all I wanted to do was talk to my grandparents, especially my maternal grandmother, because I missed her so much. She died when I was in fifth grade. So that's all I wanted when I started this journey, Elaine, was to be able to talk to her. Now I'm like talking to everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm not saying that the listeners have to open up that much. It was just once I started down that road, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I want to cultivate this more and I want to cultivate this more. And then as you and I have talked, apparently I've had these gifts since I was little and my
Mhm.
my guides just shut them down for me so I could have a more normal life. And now they're coming back out because I came here to help provide, I don't know, healing, inspiration. I don't really know how
Mm.
you want to look at it or word it.
No, you're so right. And inspiration and healing you are giving, my darling, in bucket loads.
Oh,
But
thanks.
I think that is the thing. And I think anyone that's listening, even if, I mean, and lots of them will obviously be open incredibly, or they wouldn't be listening otherwise, would they?
Exactly.
But even someone that's starting off, I will say, even if you pick up one thing and you go with it, no one is saying you have to say, do I take this flight? Do I go on this meeting? Do I? No, that's a little bit sad. You've got to do something to yourself. But I
Yeah.
still say there's a difference. Somebody that steps off of a three-legged stool, which is, a couple of inches off the ground,
Mhm.
breaks their leg. You're like, oh, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Somebody else walks down and a tree falls down and they miss it. And you're thinking, guardian angel was with them today. That's it. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. It may be subtle,
Mhm.
it may be tiny, but everywhere someone is getting a message. And if it's not in someone's belief system and they think that it's wrong,
Mhm.
then talk to the faith person that teaches you. Because
Mhm.
I honestly have spoken to quite a lot of people from different faiths that do healings and teach.
Mhm.
And this idea that what we do is abnormal or out of the ordinary range,
Mhm.
people are now saying it isn't. All we have is we just have an extra communication antenna that
Yeah.
we can tune in that other people can't. And I think if this is a tool that
Mhm.
we can use to help people get through life and help people to sort things more easily, then I don't see that it's a wrong thing. And if it's one little inkling, then that person will feel, hang on, I did that for myself. It's a feeling of power,
Mhm.
empowerment,
Yeah.
and love, but also that you're not alone.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's that feeling of no one's going to come in and go, you're a chess piece. I'm going to move you over there. It's not being possessed or owned. We're a channel. and they
Mhm.
just want to talk.
Yeah.
How many spiritual women are up there that want to chat to us and want to get something said? They're
Yeah.
frustrated. No, it's like, Katie, I'm trying to tell you, my husband isn't doing this. Can you get me if he comes to give him a message? That sort of thing.
I do love it. I really do. It's surprising.
Yeah,
But
but it is. I mean, I think you have to be organized, and I think
yeah.
you have to be. And when I read people such as you, my darling, and others that have got analytical heads as well
Mhm.
as their intuitive head,
Mhm.
it's, you hear that good cop, bad cop. You hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of doing this. Why? Well, I'm just going to do it. But why? Give me a reason. So you've got the two sides of this person, and you're thinking, oh, hell, they're doing this with an ordinary thing. What are they going to be like with a message?
I know. Yeah. Yeah, like, that's, like, your own internal battle of because I am legitimately wearing 2 hats. I'm doing 2 different
Mhm.
jobs that are completely different. So it's like, like, I feel like some people that, like, are more intuitive, they don't have such a vocal analytical mind because they're more into this realm usually, but I'm literally equally doing both all
Mm.
day, like, every day. So they constantly are going back and forth with each other about things.
Yeah, I've never been that analytical ever.
We'll see. I
But
think that'd be a
obviously, having
blessing.
had a job as well, I did find it a little bit tiring, let's
Mhm.
say. But
Mhm.
because of all these years, I've been able to do just spiritual stuff. Then
Yeah.
I don't, as you know, I don't analyze a thing. My little
Oh,
brain is all tweeties and gnomes and pixies and fairies, and it's
ah,
fine. But I'm able now at my age to be able to do that. And the environment I live in, the place I live, I'm able to do just that and focus on just that.
yeah,
And the rest of my life sort of fritters around the edges of it.
yeah,
But it is, I mean, the way you do it, but with your analytical head as well.
yeah.
And being such an incredible healer, I've said this, I know you don't like me saying it to you,
I don't.
but being such an incredible healer
Mhm,
and such an analytical, wonderful woman with your daily life, your accountancy and everything, which
mhm.
boggles my brain at the best of times. I take my hat off to you because I admire you, darling, especially in this fast moving world,
Yeah.
especially this year being the year of the fire horse. I mean,
Yes.
everything is like charging, galloping ahead. And it's like, and yet you hold it together and you still smile.
Yeah.
I take my hat off to you, my angel,
Oh,
because I
thank
don't think I
you.
could keep up with you. I don't think I could.
Oh, you good. You're good. You're so nice. Oh, thank you.
But it is, and I think that's the thing. If some people think we live, I mean, I do live in La La Land. I'm quite happy to admit it now, but I've worked hard to get there. I think people go, oh, they wake up in the morning and life is just orange juice and pancakes, and they can do this with it. No, it isn't. It really isn't.
No.
You've got to do all the normal things, but for you, even more so in a hurly burly world with young children.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. It's just this balance,
Yeah.
but you still smile, you still do it, and you still help so many people.
Yeah.
And now that journaling helps,
Yeah.
then the dream thing doesn't clog you up because it did, didn't it? Let's be honest. At one stage, it did.
Yeah, I mean, I would analyze things for a long time, but now that I've got the routine of get it out, and then they will let the real part come in, the part that really matters, and that's been so that's why, y'all, if you have problems with confusion, I would highly recommend you seek out Elaine. I'm gonna have all of her information in the show notes again because she honestly, I don't really care where any of you all are on your individual levels. I always feel like you should have a mentor that's a couple levels above you because they're growing and you're growing and you still kind of need that person to help you muddle through your own stuff. So Elaine is the person I go to when I have my analytical brain has gotten my intuition all crazy and there's like a windstorm, going on around me. I'm like, Elaine, I need a session. Let's figure out where the ground is and let's figure out where the sky is because right now I don't know. And she's amazing. She always, by the end of our sessions, I feel like the sun has come out. I know where everything is going. I know what my next step is. And it's just beautiful. I love you. I love your gifts. I just do. You're
Oh,
amazing.
bless you. Now you've made me blush, sweetie. Thank you so much.
You're so awesome. You really are.
Well, you're the gifted healer, my darling. You're the one that can commute with those animals and make so much so special. It's so incredible.
Oh,
And I know because you did it for my babies and it was humbling, literally humbling and beautiful.
Why humbling?
Humbling because I thought I knew what my doggies were going to say. When they actually said what they said, I was like, oh my gosh, they really love me that much.
Yeah.
That's nice. So it was
Oh.
really, and I know I'm a good doggy mummy,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And it's beautiful. It came from the heart and it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So, what you do and to juggle life itself as well, my angel.
Mhm.
So yeah, it isn't a bowl of cherries, but do you know what? It's still good eating the cherries, isn't it? It's
Oh,
good.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the pros outweigh the cons for sure
Yeah.
for me, but I think that's a individual decision. However far you wanna take this journey with your intuition and with your guides, whatever, like, I think we're all signing up for different things, and we're not all necessarily
Mm,
gonna be as sensitive as Elaine and I
no.
in certain areas, and that's okay. Like, that's not your journey and that's not your path, but I hope that with our conversation today, that you guys were able to learn something, that there was something in here, some golden nuggets that you can take back with your life that will help make your life a little easier and make you feel more empowered and closer to your spiritual community.
I second that, my darling. And thank you so much for having me again. I'd like
Ah,
to come again one day.
thank you so much for coming, Elaine. I love our sessions so much, and I know that it's just gonna help so many people. I just know that right now. I can feel it, so
She
thank
feels it
you.
in her bones.
I
Bye
do.
bye. Thank you, my darling.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I wish you the most love, light, and inspiration. With all of my love, Katie.